Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Wander and Prepare. Today we're going to take a little bit of break from the actual use test reviews, and I'm going to talk about my favorite fixed blades of 2026. Now, I did not get all of these blades in 2026, but these are the ones that I semi-regularly carry, and they're just ones that I would recommend to you guys. So I just kind of want to show you what I've been carrying in my pocket, and I broke them down into 4 different categories. So the first category is going to be small pocket-sized fixed blades. So let's go ahead and show you what I got for that. So first up, this was one of the first knives in MagnaCut that I ever received, and this knife is pretty special to me for a couple reasons. Number one, this was the first knife that I actually did one of the use tests with, and this is the TRM Three Rivers Manufacturing Tagalong. So really cool, really excited to get this knife. They actually sent me this knife for a review, but it has Blue Jean micarta on the scales. It came with a little leather lanyard. I put the metal bead and the glow bead on it, but super cool knife, super small knife. So it literally fits in the palm of my hand, and just overall fit finish, just absolutely dialed in knife. This also comes in MagnaCut steel, 100% USA made. So heck of a knife to be in a small category, but man, it punches way above its weight. But when you talk about the perfect size for someone getting into a fixed blade EDC, this is it. So it just really doesn't get a whole lot better than this. And it is just absolutely that perfect size for getting into a fixed blade for EDC. But full disclosure, a lot of my regular pocket knives are actually bigger than this. So I'm a big knife guy, so most people, for some people, just take that into consideration. But if you're looking for a small EDC fixed blades, the TRM Tagalong is a really good choice. All right, second knife I want to show you guys is actually my Knafs Lander 4, and this is the Blade Binge Dark Mode Edition. So this is probably the fixed blade that I actually carry the most, and it is hands down one of my favorite knives. Couple reasons. One, I absolutely love the dark mode collaborations, and it is just a really, really good looking knife. So the Knafs Lander 4, this particular one comes in 20 CV steel. That's another thing I really like about the dark modes. They usually come in a different steel than what comes standard. But this also fits in that small knife category. And again, got about a 2.5 inch blade on it. It's got a 3-finger grip, but so it come with this lanyard and this bead already on it. And I mean, they could not have tied that lanyard and that bead any better. My pinky fits right on there, and it feels like I got a full 4-finger grip instead of just a 3-finger grip that the small knife comes with, which is probably another reason why this is one of my favorite knives. Now, that lanyard and that bead comes on all of the Knafs Lander 4s, so any of those you get, while it is a 3-finger grip knife, it's gonna feel like a 4 because you can put your pinky on that bead. But really cool. I also love a sheep's foot blade, which this one is. I just feel like for utilitarian cuts, it is absolutely hard to beat. And I went ahead and opted, it comes with a Kydex sheath. I went ahead and opted to get the leather sheath for it. And I just think it makes it a heck of a nice more pocket carry. And it's a deep carry pocket clip, so it fits in. And literally this kind of got a DCC style clip. I may have forgot to mention in the first one, it has an ulti clip on it. But fits really deep down in the pocket and just really easy to carry. So that's the Knafs Lander 4. The third knife I have in this category is actually the TKell Scout. So this is considerably larger than the other two, but I will tell you why I still put it in the small knife category. So the TKell Scout, for me, it is a 4-finger grip, but my pinky wants to fall off of there. So that's why I put it in this category. And ideally, this is not ideally, but this is a 3.6 inch handle. And for the next category, we're gonna go up. I'm doing 4-inch handles and above. So you'll see what I mean by that. But the TKell Scout is also that sheep's foot blade, which I think is absolutely perfect. It also does a pretty good job, and you won't be able to see this on camera, but when I have my fingers on the handle, I get the majority of the use of that blade. Now the Lander does not have that, so when I have my hand on it, I only get the use of the very edge or back end of that blade. But a couple things to note about TKell. So this is a 3.1 inch blade, 3.6 inch handle. I went ahead and tied the lanyard on there. And just a note for those of you that matter too, so the little screw holes that these are, it doesn't actually have an actual lanyard hole, but I actually had to use a smaller paracord to kind of fit through that. But once you did that, it worked just perfect. But a couple things about the TKell Scout. So this one's actually in a different blade steel for a TKell. So this is, what is it? CTS XHP. So a newer blade steel for him, but seems to be really good, really tough. And they sent me this knife for review. So if you're not familiar with TKell, hopefully the camera can pick this up. But they have little step milling on the blade right here. And that really helps reduce drag and friction when you're actually cutting something. And it just does a heck of a job. But again, with that sheep's foot blade, that reverse kind of tanto here, that blade tip points down, so super easy to cut open boxes or anything like that. But just hands down, one of the best knives you could have for a fixed blade in a small knife category. But this one is a little bit bigger than the rest, so take that in consideration. But if you want a bigger, small fixed blade, this is definitely the way to go. Now, it comes with a Kydex sheath, and Tim makes some of the best Kydex in the business. I'm just going to show you this. It has a little thumb wrap right here, so I'm just going to push on it, and it absolutely shoots off of there. So really good Kydex, and this one is set up for scout carry. However, if I was going to carry this on a daily basis, I would actually set this up for a leather sheath, and I would make it a pocket carry, because again, I'm kind of putting it in that small pocket carry kind of category. So those are the ones I have in the small pocket carry category. So now we're going to change it up, and we're going to go larger fixed blade, still pocket sheaths though. So I'm going to start with my Overland X. Now, as you can see, I have this one set up for a neck knife. Now, it is probably a little too large for most people when it comes to a neck knife, but as you guys know, I'm a giant, so that's why I have this one set up as a neck knife. But this one is 3.2 inches. It has a 4.4 inch blade, or handle rather, so full 4-finger grip with a little bit of room to spare. It's got micarta scales, and I don't know if a camera can pick that up, but it's got little brass rivets in there in between the screws, and it just makes that look really, really good. And it keeps those brass rivets too on the actual Kydex sheath. And the Kydex sheath is green, like an OD green, kind of to match that handle. So this actually comes in Magna Cut, and absolutely a heck of a knife. Again, I know you can't see this on camera, but this is absolutely one of my favorite knives for one reason only. When I have all 4 fingers on the grip, I can get 100% of the use of that blade. It is one of the best designs out there in my opinion. And part of that is because it has that little swerve down right there. And then the blade is so much lower than the actual handle. But hands down, when it comes to cutting task, camp task, food prep, this is one of the best knives that you could possibly find. And it comes with the ulti clip already on it, which is why I put it in that pocket sheath kind of category, and of a large pocket knife. A large fixed blade pocket carry rather. All right, second knife I want to show you is one I actually got recently, and this is from Half Face Blades. So this one, very unique, and if you're familiar with Half Face Blades, they are known for creating some absolute works of art. Now this, I did not even realize they made knives this small in this category, but this one is just a little over 3 inches on the blade. This is CPM 3V steel, got micarta handles on it, super heavy duty. If you can see, that blade's fairly thick, but then the blade right here, literally the edge starts coming down right there, which makes this an incredibly strong knife. But it just feels really good in the hand, and I mean just really perfect for a pocket carry. So the sheath is really good. I don't know how well you guys can see this, but there's actually felt inside of that sheath, and it makes it really interesting. So you don't get that satisfying click you get with most kydex, but it absolutely holds in there well. But it's got an ulti clip on it. Now, I've carried this in the pocket several times. It is a little bit handle heavy when it's in the pocket. I would opt to get the larger ulti clip so it sticks up just a little bit, and that way when that clamps, it'll push that further down in the pocket and make it just a little bit better when on the carry, and won't make it so handle heavy in the pocket. But absolute tank of a fixed blade, and one that I think you guys should definitely check out for a fixed blade, larger fixed blade pocket carry. All right, next knife in this category is one that I actually got recently too. This one was just released recently, and this is the Reiff F3, and this one is in Magna Cut. So Reiff actually reached out and they sent this one to me. So it's got a green micarta handle on it. It's got their standard kydex pocket sheath, although I am sourcing a leather sheath for it. So I want a deep carry sheath that comes up to about right here. And then I'm gonna tie a lanyard on there, and I think that's gonna make it a lot better for pocket carry. Currently it's set up for belt carry, but if you take that off, you put an ulti clip on there, you get a leather sheath. This is a great option for a pocket sized fixed blade in kind of that large category. And why I put it in that large category, so this has a 3-inch blade, but it has a 4-inch handle. I got all 4 fingers on there, little room to spare, don't cover up that lanyard hole, and it is just absolutely perfect in the hand. If you've never handled a Reiff knife, I highly suggest you do so, whether it's in a knife store, if you're able to make it to a blade show. Hands down, the most ergonomically comfortable knife I've ever put in my hand. So I also, for Reiff knives, they are some of the best knives out there, and I've often said about Reiff knives that if I could only have one knife, it would be a Reiff knife. Wouldn't be this one, but you're gonna see which one it would be in just a second. So, but this is hands down an heirloom quality knife. And quite honestly, even though it's an heirloom quality knife, it's not all that expensive. So this one comes in at $265, just the price on the others. I forgot to mention that. So the half face blades, this one is actually $325. And for the Overland X, this one is $275, I believe. So don't quote me on that, check them. I know they run sales all the time too. But really, really good quality knives. And then I got one more in this category, and that is my Jack Wolf knife, Vampire Hunter. So it's set up with a Tailored by Cortez sheath. It's got a DCC style clip on the back. But when it comes to premium luxury carry, this is what's in my pocket. I absolutely love this knife. So the Vampire Hunter is actually a collaboration between Jack Wolf and LT Wright. And this one comes in Magna Cut. They do make a version that is a little less expensive, and it's in AEBL. So that's kind of their standard version. Well, this is kind of the upgraded version. But look at that bone handle and just the detail in that. Now, it's got a little swerve down, so it makes it incredibly pointy on the edge, but Magna Cut steel, amazingly sharp knife. And while I wouldn't necessarily use it to strike a ferro rod, it absolutely has a 90-degree spine and definitely will do so. So that's the extra knife I have in this category. So again, these are large pocket-sized fixed blades and the ones that I would recommend. So let's clear these out and let's get the next category. All right. So for this next category, I'm gonna go belt knife. And these are larger size fixed blades that you would carry on your belt. So all of these are gonna have usually a leather sheath with a belt clip on them. Can be a kydex, but they're larger knives. So this is the Knives by Nuge Bruin. And this one is in CPM 3V, but incredible knife, and in a Scandi grind. It's got green micarta scales on it, and really thick handle. So it's not too thick, but it's super comfortable. Only side note, he puts an incredibly sharpened spine on this knife. And I will say, I actually made a tri-stick with this knife. And while absolutely incredible at throwing sparks, when you're doing a tri-stick and you're really putting pressure on that, I actually cut my thumb up just a little bit in doing that. But just something to note. But this one comes in at 4.5 inches. And again, CPM 3V. The sheath is Badger Claw Outfitters and Crazy Horse leather. So an absolutely incredible knife. All right, the next knife I have in this category is going to be my LT Wright Genesis. Now this one comes with a leather dangler sheath, and I don't actually know who this maker is, but absolutely incredible job on this sheath. And if you're not familiar with a dangler sheath, so it has what they call the dangler up here, and your belt can fit here. And what that is basically it allows that knife to swing free. So when you sit down, it can move out of the way and things like that. However, if you don't like that, you pull that down and then you can put your belt through here, and then you have just a regular belt knife. So depending on how you want to carry it. And this one has the section for a ferro rod, and I went ahead and put a ferro rod in there. But this is the LT Wright Genesis. So LT Wright logo there. So this is kind of a unique model too. So most LT Wright knives comes in 01 or 02 steel. This one is made in CPM 3V. And you actually know that by that little X on the blade there. That's what that signifies. But I just couldn't resist picking this knife up when it came in CPM 3V, but it's got micarta scales on it. It's got pinned handles, so you can't change those. But ergonomically, super comfortable knife. And he puts a little swedge down right there, so you can kind of do a pinch grip to do some fine tasks. But this one is 4.5 inches on the blade as well, same as the knives by Nuge Bruin, but super comfortable Kephart style knife. All right, let's put this one down. And now I'm gonna show you my pride and joy. So this is my Reiff F5. So this knife is absolutely, if I could only have one knife to do anything with, this is the knife I would choose. So hands down for me, this is the most ergonomically comfortable knife I've ever held in my hand. So this is one of the original generations, and it is in CPM 3V, and you can see I've used the heck out of it and still going strong. I have done nothing but strop this edge, and I have made a whammer with this. I have batoned with this multiple times, done multiple cutting tests with it, and it absolutely excels at every single one of those tasks. It is just absolutely incredible of a knife. My wife actually tied this lanyard on there for me before I kind of learned how to tie them myself. But it's got a glow bead, and then it's got the little metal bead, and then it's got the little, I forget what that's called, like a snake knot, I believe, at the end. But absolutely incredible on the ergonomics. Comes with a Badger Claw Crazy Horse leather sheath, same as the knives by Nuge. They don't put the Badger Claw on there, they put their own logo on there, but Badger Claw is the one that makes those. But absolutely incredible knife. And that's my Reiff F5. So these are my large belt knives that I would put in this category, and my absolute favorite belt knives of 2026. All right, so let's go ahead and get these put up, and then we will have our last and final category for you guys. So this last category, full disclosure, any knife that I've shown you today, or any knife period, can fall into this category. But this particular category for me is a personal defense knife. And for me, I only have one knife in this category, and that is the TKell 007. So for me, if I cannot carry my gun, this is the knife that I put on my side. Now I have a Delta sheath that I carry with this one. So if you're not familiar with Delta sheath, check those out. So Lewis over at Delta Sheath makes some incredible leather sheaths. I actually have some on the way that I'm going to show off to you guys, but I actually put a APH clip on this, and I scout carry this one, and that's the easiest way for me to carry this because it is a fairly large knife. So if you're not familiar with the Agent series from TKell, so this is the Agent series handle, and it's made for a couple reasons like this. Number one, it's got a little swerve down there, so it locks in when you're there. But the second thing is it's absolutely perfect for doing a fighting grip, and then it has like a little thumb jimping right there, and that's excellent if you're using this for any kind of stabbing purposes. But TKell knives, again, I told you in the beginning, so they have a little step milling on their blades, and absolutely incredible. And they also put a battle worn finish on these, and he also does a nickel boron treatment to these blades that makes them incredibly hard and just a really tough blade. So all of Tim's blades are 100% made in the USA and absolutely incredible. But this is a Tonto style, and just the way that secondary edge comes up on the secondary flat part of the blade comes up on that makes this an incredibly sharp blade. When it comes to a piercing knife and one that I'm going to protect my life in, this is the only knife I really put in this category. Again, any knife can be used for personal defense, but this is mine. This is also really special to me. I actually picked this up at Blade Show Atlanta last year, and that was when Melissa Backwood's knife was released. And I was actually standing in the line for the Melissa Backwoods knife, and did not realize that. And when I got up there, he had already sold out of all of the 007s that he had. So Tim, being the guy that he did, said, hey, send me an email. I'll go ahead and make one and get sent out to you. And that's exactly what he did. And a couple months later, I got this knife. And I absolutely love it. It is made in AEBL. And again, Tomas Salas was kind of the designer of this knife, and absolutely incredible fighting knife. It can absolutely be an EDC knife if you want to, but for me, that Tonto and that blade shape, 100% the best self-defense knife that you can have out there. So that's all I have for you guys today. Let's go ahead and set them all out. So personal defense, we got belt knives, we have mid-sized pocket carry knives, and then lastly, we got small pocket-sized fixed blades. So these are my favorite knives of 2026. So guys, just remember, as we're out there wandering and preparing, let's make sure we do so by faith and not by sight. If you've enjoyed this content, I'd really appreciate you giving me a like and subscribe. And I know I normally do cutting tests, and I broke away from that. Not getting away from those cutting tests, not going back to tabletop reviews, but I just feel like it's every once in a while it's good to slow down, show you some of my favorite knives, and just talk about what's out there and kind of make sure you get a good view of them, and share what I actually enjoy carrying. So that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you guys so much.